Hey everybody, it's Elizabeth. I just wanted to jump in today because, sometimes friends bring me reports that they have had done on their students, or I read reports for work. And, the quality really varies. And so recently somebody gave me a report to read, and it looked like it was 18 pages long. But when I got into the report, the score tables were all embedded within the report, which, by the way, is not a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing when they have the score reports in them. But in the end, this examiner gave only a paragraph of history about this student for a first evaluation in high school. This examiner had not looked at school records to get a sense of whether teachers had noticed the student having difficulties over many years. There's just the report of the student and parent, which are obviously very important. But there were no details about how this student performed on a task. So for instance, sometimes when we test students, they do very well on harder items, but at the very beginning, they might not do well on what should be for them at their point in their development, some easy items, and that can speak to attention issues, things like that. And so, before you go and schedule any testing, first of all, please make sure to either read or watch the resources that I like to provide on testing and documentation. If you are not a member of my Facebook group, it's called College Transition and Accommodations or something like that. Join us. I have a huge master post in there about documentation, or you could read my book if you want to know more. But essentially, listen to me say that for a lot of colleges, you will not need testing done within 3 years of the student starting college. You will not need a full neuropsychological evaluation. I am just jumping on to share with you now that if for any reason you are getting testing for your student, please do some research on my site, and I will put these links in the comments under this video. I've got 2 resources that I wrote for my site about how to make sure that the report that you get is really worthwhile. So there's details about, one of the posts talks about what should be in a good private report. Remember, private report, be aware that colleges are very accustomed to seeing school district reports. We know that they're not going to be integrated with a compilating summary, and that's okay. And so don't think that you need to go get it testing because the school report doesn't do some of the things that I mentioned. These are just about private reports, what should be in them, and how to ask a psychologist or a neuropsychologist for what's called a redacted report, where all of the personal details are removed, but you can get a sense of how detailed they make their reports. I show you how to use a highlighter to focus on what parts of that narrative are actually about the student and their performance, and not just about what the task was. Like, it asked the student to name as many circus animals as they could in 30 seconds. But it would say, Elizabeth was able to spit out 10 circus animals initially and then could not think of another one. Or Elizabeth took 10 of the 30 seconds she was given just to get started. Things like that are really helpful, not just to the colleges and obviously not just to the high schools if they're still going there, but to you and in understanding your child. So it's just a Monday. This is on my mind. I will put the links in there. Again, if you are not a member of my Facebook group and you'd like to see that really long post on documentation, be sure to do that, but also check the other resources. Make sure before you do anything about documentation for your student who's going to college, you check the documentation requirements for the college that they will attend, because you may be very pleasantly surprised by how little perhaps they require. It's Monday. My word retrieval is not working very well. Anyway, I hope you find this helpful. Take care.